we had been chasing my bull through a freaking lightning storm for hours. Like the roads were flooded, and I was just like, I freaking love lightning storms. So I was having the best time of my life. He gets hung up. There's a gap between us. I can't get him to come in. Calling's not working. And she's like, well, I can try to call. She's older than me, but she's like, talks like a little baby. And she's experienced, but not like, she didn't get to go all the time, And I was like, yeah, why not? Like, let's have fun. Yeah. Dude, she drops back and starts calling, and it sounded like this little calf, and the bull runs, I get chills thinking about it, runs straight into me, 20 yards, broadside bugles, and I smoked him.
Welcome to the company.
Don't make me cry right out the gate.
It's pretty cool.
It is cool.
Our newest member of the MKC family. It's pretty wild.
It's pretty special. I was actually sitting in this exact chair the last time I thought to myself, man, it'd be pretty sweet to work for this company.
Really?
No, I'm not joking. It's like after the grand opening here, last March, a year ago.
Yeah.
And, I was happy where I was. It was fine. Everything was at a great team, but
yeah,
I vividly remember looking up and thinking, I could work here. So that's
awesome.
Kind of cool.
It's awesome. Well, when we were trying to think about who to fill this position, there were a couple people, that we were thinking about, and it's hard because your position is really, you're going to be representing Brandon and I a lot. You're going to be kind of the connection to customers or an event or, a lot of really important relationships, other brands. And obviously because you're the brand relations manager, so other brands. But we were sitting around trying to think about who we wanted to offer this position to. And it's kind of funny because so many people, right? And then you start to realize, think to yourself, okay, who do we want to speak our voice and be that relations person? And man, your list starts to get really, really narrow. And we were racking our heads. And then one day, I actually think I was going through my phone because, how you have mind blanks, and I'm like, who am I?
Yeah, why didn't I think about that person?
Yeah, and so I'm I was literally just scrolling through my contacts, and I saw your name, and it was oh my God, that's the person, right? And so I talked to Brandon about it, and he was like, oh, 100%, and he's like, do you think she would leave? And I'm like, well, I don't know. And
not for very many companies.
Yeah. And
that's
so
the truth.
Shot you a text, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that you were even interested at all. Do
you remember my response?
Was it? It was. It was get out of my head or something, or because weren't you thinking about it, or what was it?
You said, I was sitting in Hawaii getting ready for Rihanna's wedding. I was getting my makeup done.
I think I said, would you ever think about moving to Montana?
And all I wrote back was, damn it, Josh.
Oh, that's right.
Because I had just bought a house. You know, when you think you know where your life is going, and I had finally reached this place. I'm like, okay, mid-30s, I want to settle down. I am happy where I am.
Yeah.
And it's the first house I've ever bought. So there's a little bit of a connection to it in that way.
Right, for sure.
But we didn't have to sell it, thankfully. So it worked out. That's why it was my first thought, is because, by the way, don't ever buy a house and close on it during the rut of elk season. I literally closed on a house through a Garmin InReach.
Really?
On a mountain. Yeah. That's how I had the realtor. I signed everything early. I was Braxton's power of attorney. I had just finished it, opened up the upstairs Airbnb, started a new business. It wasn't just buying a house. It was start a business, figure out a way to make money against the mortgage so that I could continue this awesome lifestyle and traveling and all the things that I love.
Yeah.
It was the only way that was going to work.
Yeah.
To open up a mortgage. And I was just getting to a place. We had renovated the basement to make it dual living. Things falling into place. I'm like, here's life for you.
Yeah.
here's a
curveballs.
curveball.
Well, it's kind of like having people who have babies in September. It's just bad planning.
Yeah.
I was just talking with Zach with Onyx, and they had a baby last September. And my first thought was like, oh, bad planning.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I'd agree with that.
yeah. So, we chatted a little bit, and then what I thought was actually really cool, as much as we wanted to have you here, because that was that December?
December 8th.
Okay.
It's weird that I know that, but
Yeah.
December 8th is when you texted me.
Yeah, and then
December 9th. That
took
was
you till
Rihanna's
February to actually get here. But what I actually found really cool is that you didn't want to leave your team at Hunt and Fool, hanging. You wanted to get them through show season. And I mean, obviously we would have loved to have you during all that time, but like that actually, you were kind of apologizing for it, of like, well, I got to do this and I wouldn't feel right. And that actually tells me like you're the right kind of person that we want, that you actually feel that way. And we also, I mean, we do stuff with Hunt and Fool. We love Hunt and Fool. So we also don't want to, hurt somebody else or cause bad feelings or whatever to somebody else in the industry, because this is a small community.
Yeah, very, very small.
I already felt bad a little bit about stealing you, but no, it was cool that you wanted to uphold your end of the bargain with them and finish out the right way and help them get on their feet with your position before you came here.
Yeah, I wouldn't have felt right doing it any other way.
Yeah.
So, and I was very thankful that you guys were flexible enough. I mean, it's easy to see the growth that you've had, and probably more than what you ever expected. And when there is excitement around the potential around partnering with someone or taking things off of your plate, like I know that's got to be like, it'd be nice. It would have been nice if I could have been like, yeah, 2 weeks, get here and get started. And
right.
and I wanted to. Gosh, if I could have just been both places at once, because it was very bittersweet. It was arguably I've never felt so much of both sides, like both ends of the spectrum at once. It was very strange, like grieving, but also like so excited about the future and the unknown. Like I am such a dreamer, you know, and I'm like, I love making big goals, and it gives me butterflies. Like I just, so every night it was a mix of how can I leave here, and feel good about what I'm walking away from in a way that's like taking care of them and better than I left it. Right. It just goes to, that's the saying, is leave a place better than you left it.
Right.
Or than you found it. Yeah. And so it was a mix of that. And then like dreaming about all the things that we were going to do when I got here.
Yeah.
So it was weird. It was, definitely a learning lesson and a very special transition in my life that I probably more special because I wasn't expecting it. In the minute that you texted me, I just freaking knew. Like, I don't know. I was just like, assuming that everything went good with an interview and all that, I was like, I think I want to do it. Yeah. And we hadn't even talked. It was just a freaking text message. So,
right. Yeah.
And the only person I showed Ree, because she was right there, and she's like, yes, like so excited, because
that's cool.
She has a lot of respect for you guys too.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
no, it's cool. And what I think a part of what makes it, for sure, what makes it, we've had a few moments in this company that are like surreal. But what makes it so cool to me is because you were literally like the first person we met in the industry. One of the very, very first ones when Jess and I came to that first TAC and went up on the hill, and you were up there, and, Donnie Drake, Amanda, Ree, and Zach, I think, from Loopold.
Yep.
And you guys were so kind to let us just shoot with you. My wife and I, we didn't know a soul. And you let us kind of hang with you for the day, which is like, it's tough because like when you go up on the mountain like that and you're with a group of really close friends, you can act like a jackass and you can say shit that you probably shouldn't say. And you don't have to mind your P's and Q's, but then all of a sudden there's two people standing there you don't know. And, you're all pros in the industry. So it's like, okay, now we got to watch our P's and Q's and like, be careful of like, who knows what these people are like. So it was probably,
that's funny because that never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Like not at all. I mean, I think that's just kind of this industry though. Everybody's so
welcoming.
It's like, it's just like family.
Yeah. But it was really cool that you guys were, and you specifically were so good to us early. And then, the connection to Sornex. And that's one of the other things that I thought was really surreal for us is like, you know, when I first went to Winter Strong at Bert Soren's and Sornex, and then, you know, just a couple years later we're sponsor, and then this year we were title sponsor. Things like that are really surreal because it was just yesterday that, you know, we were brand new and nobody knew us. And so, and it's what makes it so cool is because we actually love those people so much. We loved you before you ever came here. You know, and we were already sending you knives and, you know, just friends. And Bert, you know, we love that whole Sornex crew so much. So, actually having you, I don't think Bert would come to work here, but I should offer him a job and see.
Let me be on the call when you do.
Yeah. You want to move to Montana, Bert?
Yeah.
Bert would probably, if I caught him on the right day, he'd probably be like, done.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's been cool. What have you thought of the first couple weeks?
I love it. I feel like I've answered this question a lot lately because my family's been dying to hear every little detail. And the very first thing that I say, so culture is very important to me. And before I got here, I only knew you, Jess, and Brandon. I mean, I met Henry a couple times, but like I didn't know anybody. And so walking into a team of 55 total people was like, man, that can go a lot of different ways. But what I continued to trust is that I knew the 3 people who were heavily involved in who was going to add to the team and grow the team. And when you trust that they'll hire the ones who mesh well, who are there for the right reasons, who ride for the brand, and all those things that I love that you can feel when you walk into a building. And I felt that like right out of the gate. That's the coolest part. I mean, granted, I'm only on the end of my second week here, but I was like, just like walking into that Monday morning meeting, you know, the Monday, Wednesday meetings. I love that. I think it's so important for culture. But to see how tight knit everybody is, and then, you know, going to the Wild Sheep banquet together, and then, you know, we all just went dancing this past weekend. Like, that stuff's really important. And, you know, I'm from the South. I'm from Texas. And so I didn't even have family in Utah where I was over the last 4 years, but I had developed something that felt like family.
Right.
And that was the hardest thing to lean into, of like, you can create a community wherever you go, and you can find your kind of people, even if it's not necessarily at MKC. But what I quickly found out was I'm going to have that here. For sure. And that's just really special. Like, yeah, it's something that, I mean, I think we got probably lucky early. Like when I found Tristan, you know, I think he actually first reached out to Brandon, but like when we found him, we just got lucky that we hired a high school kid that was a rock star, right? Like that was just complete luck, you know? And then, you know, complete luck that someone like Melissa, you know, applied for the job. And then once you start with a foundation like that, with people like that, then it becomes a little easier, especially when people come and they interview and they get to meet like, oh, Tristan and Melissa, like 2 young, good-looking people. Like, it's not like old, fat curmudgeons around here that's like, you know, you bring somebody like you in, and there's like 3 55-year-old grease balls sitting there, and you're like, I don't know about this place. Yeah. But you come in, you see Tristan and Melissa, and it's like, oh, that's pretty cool, like young people. So then it attracts more young people, and the next thing you know, you turn around, you have 15, you know, amazing young folks. And what was really cool too was like I think the fact that we were doing it in my garage and it was so small and intimate that you had to get to know each other. And we did hire one guy that lasted, I think he quit after a day, and he was just an old, fat, like weird dude. And as soon as I hired him, like I heard from Tristan, I heard from Melissa, back when Sadie was working for us, like the next day, like I come in and they're like, what are you doing? Like, you're ruining everything.
You're ruining everything. Yeah. Who did you invite to our party? And so it was like, all right, bud, you got to go.
It's a really young team.
It is. Like, but I love that because it's people that are young and excited about their future. They're excited about the possibilities within the company. they also have energy, and they're also, quite frankly, they're not all distracted with like kids and family. And so like after work, they'll hang out and shoot bows together. Right. Yeah. And since you started, that hasn't been happening quite as much just because it's cold, but like you'll see, I mean, shortly there'll be 5 or 6 people out shooting bows almost every night, or they're shooting bows at lunchtime. And then like the next thing you know, they're going hiking on Saturday together, and they're getting together. Jess Alber's texting everybody wanting to say, if you want to go bowling, you know, and
yeah,
I love that. They're like truly like each other and want to do things outside of work, which nothing makes me happier when I open up Instagram. Well, actually, it does bother me I wasn't invited. Who wants to invite the boss?
I know, who wants to hang out with the boss all the time.
Yeah, but it is so cool when you see like them down bowling with each other, or playing pool, or out hiking, or, you know, it's just really cool.
Yeah, it's super special. Braden and I stayed last night and shot a little bit. Actually had a moving target to shoot at.
Yeah, so how did he range find it? Did he know his range?
Yeah,
and he still missed?
Yeah, but it was a poke. I mean, you can never really tell. I didn't ask him the exact range, but it was out there. Like it was I was like, I didn't think he was going to hit it. I just thought you have to try.
Yeah, for sure.
But
tell people what you're talking about.
So yeah, we're just shooting, you know, close range, 30, 35 yards. And I look up and Ellie is beelining across the gravel, full hackles. Like she looked like a razorback. And I'm like, what is going on? And then I'm like, oh my God, it's a coyote. He was so close. He was running across, and she was just ready to, she was not stopping. I was able to call her off of him, but he just started trotting, and Braden came around the corner, and next thing I know, he's ranging, and I just pulled out my phone for long enough to kiss at him and see the arrow fly.
Was that you? Was that you doing the kissing?
Yeah, he started, and then I finished it because he kept moving. I'm like, so I started kissing so he could focus.
Yeah.
And yeah, I stopped broadside, but he flinched as soon as the bow went off. The coyote flinched in the video. It's pretty clear. And
yeah, I'm not giving Braden any room for excuses. He's been shooting more than anyone. He should have hit that coyote.
I can't say anything. I'm like about to go on a Greenland muskox hunt, and my bow's not even sighted in. He probably is like, what is this girl doing? Because I'm trying to rig my bow a little bit to not have to replace the tape, because I'm going to go right back to those arrows, my elk arrows, when I get back. So I was like, I'll just adjust the 5 pins and not have a slider for the hunt. Well, it's a disaster.
So let's not glaze over that. Where are you going?
Greenland for muskox.
That is badass. When are you going?
I leave the 18th.
Okay.
So
how did that come up?
One of my girlfriends in the industry, Sierra Langbill, I think I talked about her last time I was on this podcast, actually, because there's a couple of quotes that she lives by, and I just think that she's just a really cool chick. She's probably, I would argue, she travels more internationally hunting by herself than anybody.
Really?
Than anybody. She's just one of those girls, like, she wants to do something, she makes it happen. I don't even know if she's chasing some list or anything like that, but she's always somewhere. She was just in Europe a couple weeks ago. She flies all over the world and hunts things that most people don't even know are like an animal.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So she hit me up about a year ago, maybe a little bit more than a year actually, and just said, would you ever want to go? And I have this goal of 1 international hunt a year. She probably goes on like 5 or 6 international hunts a year, but 1 international hunt a year. I always say I'm a traveler before I'm a hunter. And so you say a country I haven't been to, I'm like, yeah, sign me up.
Yeah. So what's the hunting in Greenland going to be like? You're going to use your bow, like you were just saying, or at least try.
I'm going to try. Yeah. So it's only like a 3 or 4 day hunt. And so it'll be Sierra, me, we'll have other people in camp, but like, and as far as our group, it'll just be Sierra and I, and then
don't forget,
now Riley's hunting.
Yeah, old Crocs, or the what do you call them? What was he calling them?
Boots or
Croots.
Croots, yeah.
Riley and his Crocs. Our other video guy Riley was wearing Croc boots at Western Hunt Expo, and my wife was abusing him mercilessly over
how ugly they were.
Yeah, asking him if he'd given up on life and all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah,
so anyway, Riley would be with you guys filming it, which is cool.
Yeah, so and it's just not that much more money to make him a hunter. So he'll be hunting as well, which is pretty sweet. I don't get, that actually meant a lot to me. Seeing how the company would do that for a camera guy who a lot of times camera guys don't get that. Mm-hmm. Like they hunt more than anybody in terms of experience and capturing, but to get behind a weapon is just a rare occasion. So kudos to y'all for even like thinking to do that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I felt a little bad about, and you didn't even know Riley. You kind of know him now, but you were coming to work here, and then you're like, hey, I'm going to be gone for a couple weeks, and we're going hunting, and we're doing this and that, and you and your girlfriend over in Greenland, and then I was like, well, can we send a video guy with you? Which is like sending a dude with you to ruin your girl's trip, but
no,
Riley's also pretty cool, so I was like, he'll respect your guys' space and let you do chick stuff by yourselves. So
totally. I had a good vibe when I met him like through Zoom or whatever, and then meeting him in person at the Hunt Expo, and then just he's very well traveled. I can tell he's confident, even doing his own thing, and he has reiterated that to us as a group multiple times. Like, y'all can do, like, I will happily tag along, but y'all can do your own thing. But,
right.
Very adaptable, very like a kind of a chameleon. I can tell he's cool. Like
if you guys are like, hey, we're gonna go do this tonight, buzz off, he'll be like, no problem.
Yeah.
And he'll go find some fun to do.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So we're gonna mix in a little bit of touristy stuff too. We're going to explore Denmark and maybe take a train to Sweden. Just if you're going to go that far, you might as well spend a few days traveling and exploring the area.
For sure.
So
what do you know about, like, do you know how to judge a muskox? I wouldn't even know how to judge one.
No, but I can tell you.
The guide?
Yeah, I can tell you, like, anytime I'm hunting with my bow, I'm just not at a stage in my life where I'm like this or bust. If it's a mature animal, it's respectable, I'm happy. Truly. Like, even still elk hunting, I elk hunt every year. I've shot a handful of bulls with my bow, and I'm still like, if he's 300, I'm happy.
Yeah, like, no shit.
So, everybody has different expectations, and I think eventually you do kind of reach that threshold in life where you're like, well, I'm just not that mad at him. I want to kill a certain caliber or nothing.
Right.
Well, I'm not there.
Yeah.
I don't like to eat tags. I will, but I don't like to. So that being said, I would love to get one with my bow. I know a couple guys who have, and I've watched several videos, and like, it's doable. Like, you go in with a decoy and everything, and it's totally doable. I don't know with the time frame that we have, how realistic it is. And I am not above a rifle. So if you watch the vlog that's about to come out, I think Henry's putting in there, but I've thought about it a few times. I'm like, oh, I hope people don't think that I'm just a total bitch, because he was like, Riley was setting up his gun for Greenland, and then they panned to me, and I'm like, I'm taking a bow because I'm cooler or something like that. Like, totally kidding. Awesome. And I thought, man, I hope people know that that's not really my personality. But
no, you should. And if you kill one with a bow and he uses the rifle, even if his is bigger, you should be like, yeah, but I shot mine with a bow.
And I feel kind of bad because I didn't know he was a new hunter. And so it makes it even worse. Or newish hunter.
Yeah. No, he can take it.
Yeah, but I'll totally pick up a gun.
He's getting a free muskox hunt he's getting paid to go on a muskox hunt, frankly. So make him earn it.
Yeah.
Abuse him.
Yeah, I do not plan to come home empty-handed, but I hope I can get one with my bow.
What do you expect for weather?
They said it could get to -30.
Yeah.
And that's before wind chill, from what I understand. So
do you snowmobile out or yeah? Yeah,
we'll be snowmobiling a lot actually. Today I actually ordered, or I haven't placed the order yet, but it's like a mono suit, like an FXR mono suit that's completely insulated. I have a full-blown fur hat that I bought at an SCI, has a freaking tail with Wolverine claws. So you got to take, goggles, and I'm wearing these big beaver mitts. Like, you got to bundle up. So if I can even get my bow drawn, that's going to be the real challenge, I think. It's not going to be getting close enough or getting a shot.
We should dress you up like a marshmallow tomorrow and then have you shoot your bow.
Dude, I've been shooting with just even a puffy jacket. Braden could tell you, and you can hear it catching on my, like, because I have a couple layers on. But I'm like, I don't care. If it hits the target, I don't give a crap.
Right.
What, like, it is what it is. I'm more concerned about that big fur hat on my face, like getting around my face and messing up any anchor points. But
So with muskox, are they? Well, I mean, as far as right now, because they're just kind of coming out of the dead of winter, so they should have like an amazing coat on them, I would think, right now.
Yeah, they'll have a good coat on them right now. In fact, the bottom like 6 to 8 inches of their what looks like their body is just hair right now. So you have to really be mindful of
figure out where
like
to
shoot
aim.
higher than what you think.
Yeah.
I've heard that from multiple people, and then I had actually at the Huntsville office they have a full mount, and so that was really cool because I've seen it in person. And
would you mount it if you got one?
no, hell no, I don't have where to put it. I haven't even no.
Would you tan the hide? That'd be a wild hide to have around. That much hair.
Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I love Euro mounts too. Like I don't like the price tag on shoulder mounts, and I just really love Euro mounts.
Right. Well, the problem with mounts too is like, if it's, I don't know what it would take to full mount a muskox, but I mean, it'd be $3,000 or $4,000 probably.
Probably more than that.
Yeah. So that's like another hunt.
Yeah.
Or part of another hunt. So like, that's the hard thing about taxidermy. As much as I love it, it's like, man, when you start making a choice about mountain stuff and it's like, okay, well, that's half of my next hunt. You keep doing that over and over and you start missing out on quite a few hunts.
The only thing I've ever full body mounted was my mountain lion, which was arguably one of the easiest hunts I've ever been on, but I still just like, they're such cool animals.
They are.
That's the only thing I've ever full, and that was more than that. So
yeah,
it's expensive. And then I said, if I got my mountain goat with my bow, I was planning to mount that, but I shot it with a gun. So I'm shoulder mounting him.
Yeah. So, Jess was asking me in the truck today to ask you on the podcast about your, you mentioned to her something about you like hunted for a couple years or something, traveling, or you went a couple years traveling, hunting or something like that.
Yeah. So when I got out of college, I quickly realized I didn't want to use my degree.
Your degree was in what?
It's called visualization. So it's a 2D and 3D graphics. So it's a mix of like programming, gaming, 3D animation, and graphic design.
Oh, so it's not like sit around and visualize stuff like weird,
meditation,
like a weirdo. Yeah,
a weirdo. I do that sometimes too, but I'll take that. Yeah. So it was a brand new major at A&M when I went there, and so it's kind of like we're gonna make you a jack of all trades, and then you have to narrow it down on your final 1 or 2 years. I think it was the final 2 years. And choose what path you wanted to do, and I chose graphic design.
Okay.
Did an internship with an agency. Quickly realized, okay, I don't want to do this. Loved the people I worked with. It's just not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to think of something that I could do where I could connect with people. I could have a flexible schedule, and learn about business. Because I didn't minor in business or anything, but like I'm naturally just driven that way. And both my parents owned their own businesses growing up. And anyway, long story short, I went to beauty school and decided that I wanted something super tedious too. And so I went for like 4 months. I didn't want to be in school very long.
Yeah.
Of course I had all these, boundaries. And anyway, so I chose to go learn how to do eyelash extensions.
Yeah.
This is so weird to tell this story. But it checked all those boxes, and then I got to make women feel beautiful every hour on the hour and have these like incredible connections. And so I did that for a few years. I opened a salon right out of school, and it took me about a year to grow a full clientele. And so then I learned that if I worked for like a few days a week for really long hours and crammed them all in, then I could hunt the rest of the week, like long weekends.
Yeah.
Around Texas. And so that's what I started doing. And then I fell in love with bow hunting. Braxton, introduced me to bow hunting. And then I started looking for mentors where I could lean on, like online, I'd look for women who bow hunted and try to find something to reference to, lean on them for advice. And there just wasn't really anything out there other than TV shows. And I've always loved writing. And like, it's very, very therapeutic for me. And it's an outlet. It's a creative outlet. It's like drain your mind, like get it out on paper. So I started writing about my adventures. Yeah. And I thought it would be nice to show some transparency behind what I learned in the field. And that I started developing relationships with partners. And this is way before like the term social media influencer came about, right? This is before anybody really knew how to make money through social media, or at least that's what I discovered, right? Like when I would tell people, oh yeah, I make money doing it. This was way before the whole, saturation of influencers hit the market. But, yeah, so I was like, I vividly remember sitting there, I was doing lashes on one of my oldest clients. Like she had been with me since the beginning. I'm like, I think I'm going to start writing about my adventures in the field and like helping other women. And, I don't even know what she said. I was just talking. And so I did, and I built relationships, and I got to where I was making enough money where I could travel. And so for a couple of years, that's all I did. I would travel. I'd just go, pick a new state I've never hunted and go hunt something. And then I went to New Zealand, Australia, Canada. I hunted a little bit everywhere while I could. I
would imagine a lot of your clients that you're putting eyelashes on are like, what in the hell are you talking about? Like, because it's not what you normally think as an esthetician, like, this pretty girl from Texas that's putting eyelashes on women in a whatever salon or whatever you call it.
Small town Texas.
Talking about how she wants to travel around the world and kill shit with her bow.
Well, it took I did lashes for 3 years. Yeah. And it took like 1 or 2 seasons before I was like, actually felt like I could do something with it. I just loved it. I loved it so much. And when I would talk to these girls, they'd be like, how do you do that? I could never do that. The doubt just overwhelmed them. And they were like, so I did talk to them about it. It's not like they didn't know that I hunted, but yeah, I felt like I was definitely living like a double life.
Yeah, no doubt. It's funny because there's an esthetician here in Missoula that her, I think boyfriend or fiance, is a guide. But same thing. She's gorgeous, but then you'll see her on Instagram and she's out, they're out pretty much every weekend chasing mountain lions with their dogs.
That's so cool.
And she's hunting and doing whatever. And it's like, but if you met her at a party or if you went in and, saw where your wife was getting her eyelashes done, you wouldn't think she's a hunter, but she's a badass, which I think is really cool. That's the thing I think with people like you and Rihanna or, so many other women in the industry have shown is like, there's these beautiful girls, but you're not just like bow babes, right? Because we see that. We see the, girls just posing with a bow and, they're holding it backwards or upside down or something like that. But then there's women out there that are actually going out and like hunting for real on their own, organizing their own trips and packing out their animals and packing in. And I even see somebody like Amanda, Caldwell with what she does with horses and pack mules and packing horses and going across the Bob or, packing into Wyoming or wherever or in the crazies. And I always like have a lot of respect for that, and I've told you this before, but I really love that. Like, for years when my daughters, I have 3 daughters, when they were growing up and they were a little bit younger, I was always pointing out women like you on Instagram of like, see, you can be pretty, but you can also do this. And, you are, cause that you just mentioned it, like that doubt of like, oh, how do you do that? Or I could never do that. I'm a female. It's like, well, it doesn't matter. Like you can actually do it, And so I love pointing out women like you on Instagram to my daughters who it's like, no, you can go and do anything, whatever, if you set your mind to it. I'm trying to take Macy on a moose hunt this fall, and I want her to have that attitude of like coming home from it. Like, I just went on a moose hunt in Northwest Territories on horses. Like, what else can you not do then? If you can do that, what can you not do?
For sure. I think I would have started a lot sooner too had I had a woman to introduce me. It's just intimidating. Like, I would have never walked into an archery shop all those years ago. I was interested in archery before I ever started, but it's very intimidating.
Well, it's easier for girls these days to see women doing it. Like when you were growing up, like say without social media, or how old are you?
34.
Yeah, so like you grew up kind of in that age where social media was just coming around. Yeah. But there weren't like a lot of women on social media even then doing this stuff, where now girls grow up and you can go find dozens and dozens of women doing, whether it's shooting guns or bows or fishing or whatever, outdoor stuff. So there's a lot of role models that are easily accessible. I'm sure there were women back when you were growing up doing it, but you wouldn't have known or been able to see them.
Yeah, it's allowed a lot more connection in everything, but particularly hunting, because it's such a small piece of the pie.
Yeah.
Has Macy killed anything before?
Yeah, she's killed a few deer, couple deer at least, and she killed a cow elk 2 years ago with her rifle.
Because I was gonna say, like, it reminds me a little bit, like you taking her on this moose hunt reminds me a little bit of how I got started in hunting Western big game, because I didn't even know what a bugle sounded like when my dad asked me if I wanted to go elk hunting. But the idea of getting to hunt with my dad was enough. It's like, yeah, I don't even know what that looks like or how they act. But yeah.
How old were you?
Just in 2015. I was.
Oh, so you weren't like in high school or?
No, all I ever knew was like hunting in the South, whitetail and I knew what an elk looked like.
So you grew up hunting deer and stuff as a younger girl?
Yeah, deer, pigs, coyotes.
But you're talking more of the Western kind of big game.
Yeah, when I got into, I'd never hunted in the mountains before. And so when your dad says, it was my wedding gift, he's like, would you ever want to go on an elk hunt for your wedding gift? I'm like, sure, Dad. And I remember driving when we were on our way there, and my cousin was in the trailer watching elk films, and one of the elk bugled. I'm like, what was that? And he goes, that's what elk sound like. That's what you're about to chase. And I just remember thinking, I was kind of embarrassed, because again, it wasn't about that. It was, I get to go somewhere with my dad that's new and unknown. And again, I go into that romanticizing what that might look like. And it just kind of reminded me taking Macy, and so that's why I asked, does she hunt? Has she ever had a desire to hunt moose, or is this just really about you and her?
Yeah, and we've never gotten to do a solo hunt really, because Hank was with us when she shot her elk, and that's the thing about being the youngest kid. By the time she came along, or by the time she was old enough to hunt, I actually wished I'd have made more of an effort. It's just tough, with all my kids, of doing some more individual stuff with them, because it's you take one, you're taking all. So her and I actually haven't really had that chance to do just a solo. Hank and I have done that. I don't know that I ever really did it with Sadie, but I did do it with Demi. Demi killed an elk when she was 15 on her opening morning of rifle season, which it was just her and I, which was really cool.
Yeah.
That would be probably one of my regrets of as the kids were growing up and not carving out more time for solo time, but man, it's tough to get any time. So then when you go, then you feel like you have to take everybody.
Yeah. You just do the best that you can.
Which they're close with each other, but you just still, I know they like it. That's one of the things I know Hank loves when we go hunting is just getting alone time,
Yeah. I never thought about that. I grew up with sisters, but I don't remember them being at deer camp and with me. Even fishing, there was a little bit of fishing overlap, but I remember having one-on-one fishing trips with my dad too. But we were spaced out. We were 6 years apart, literally. So a little bit different in that way. He had more chapters of life with us.
Yeah, I had 4 kids under the age of 6 at one point.
Goodness, yeah, stair
it was
steps.
Busy. So it's busy all the way through.
Yeah.
Which is funny because now they're starting to graduate. So it's you're slammed with kids, then you're busy all the way through, and then now it's going to feel like in just a blink of an eye they're all going to be gone. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's coming up quick.
Yeah. Let's talk about Braxton, your husband. He still works at Hunt and Fool, and then he's also a guide, right?
He is. Yep.
How did you guys meet?
Walking into a dance hall in Texas.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Same as you and Jess, pretty much. But there was some, back at home, we have these summer concerts every Thursday. And then it's just kind of known after you go to the Thursday concert, Thursdays, you go to the dance hall down the road, Bo's Barn. And so I walked in, paid my cover, and then ran up behind our mutual friend, Cole, and gave him a hug. And he turned around and he's like, oh, here's my buddy. I was like, I know exactly who you are. I was such a bitch. I was like, Braxton Byers, I know exactly who you are. And he's
really?
Like, and Cole's like, I'm never taking you anywhere. What happened here? I'm like, I just know too much. So it's funny that we're together now. But yeah,
funny.
We ended up talking all that night. He had a kid right out of high school, and I think that changes you.
Yeah.
I think that humbles you.
You have to grow up quick.
And he had a little girl. Mm-hmm. So you have a little girl at 19 years old. It doesn't matter what kind of hotshot you were in high school. It doesn't matter what records you break. It doesn't matter you were on full scholarship in college. You just started a new chapter. Right. And I saw how that changed him and softened him. He never knew who I was. Everybody knew who he was. And so I never liked him. But the minute that I got...
So you went to the same high school?
Rival high schools.
Oh, I see.
2A, tiny 2A high schools that live for, 4-H and Friday night lights, like the typical Texas scene.
Yeah.
So he was the quarterback and he was the shortstop in baseball and, all those. He checked all those boxes. He was a jock.
Yeah.
And I was not anything special. And so when I ended up talking to him that night, he had a totally different energy about him, just a lot more grounded. And then I let him take me on a date the next day, and rest is history. Been together ever since. July will be 11 years dating, and June will be 9 years married. Gosh, I can't even.
Do you guys get much chance to hunt together? Because he's a guide. A lot of guides don't get to actually do like a hell of a lot of hunting themselves.
Yeah. So in the fall, no, we don't. He guides in New Mexico and Arizona. Mm-hmm. He guides for G3 Outfitters. He's been with them for a few seasons. We try to make it where my dad and I hunt out of the same camp as him. So I can hunt with my dad, but see my husband in the month of September while he's guiding clients.
Right.
So that's how I overlapped. Like that's when he was guiding Derek Wolf. He was in camp with us, or he was guiding like some of our, Huntful members in camp. So that's where I've gotten to know some of his clients because we were in camp together, but he didn't get to hunt with me. So every year I've shot a bull, even if he's in the same unit, he's not been able to help me.
Really?
It's weird. Yeah. I'm like, bull down. I'll text him on the Garmin and then can't be there,
Yeah.
But it's fine because then I get to go back to camp and show him the rack, it's still fun.
They all crack, right?
Both, depends on the night. So what's cool about this whole new chapter in Montana is, it's no secret that living in Utah, where we were for over 4 years, the resident opportunity is just not there. Mm-hmm. It's just not. It's sad, but so there wasn't a lot to do together there where we were.
Right.
Now he's like, all he can think about is spring bear. He's he is so excited. And then paired with, he's a hell of an angler. Like the boy can fish. Not fly fish. Like I
was just going to ask you.
We actually tried fly fishing together 2 years ago, on the Yellowstone. It was like, what have we not done together? We're both very adventurous people. We've traveled a lot. We've done a lot of things in life. We checked a lot of boxes. We're like, what is something we haven't done together? Neither one of us have tried. Let's go do that. And so we booked a guiding trip in Bozeman and went fly fishing and tore up the trout, and it was amazing. But there's also not a lot of water where we were. Like, it's desert country. So he can like hardly contain his excitement to come up here and come bear hunting and go fishing together.
Yeah.
During the season that he's here, and all through the summer.
Well, and you guys, I have a fly fishing raft.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's in storage, but just right down the road, just to save room in my shop. But yeah, you guys can take that out anytime you want, and it's handy because then, like, fishing out of a raft is the way to go, especially fly fishing. If you're trying to off the banks, it's so damn hard with getting your lines tangled and just like, what a pain in the ass. But fly fishing out of fishing out of the boat is a blast. You know?
So he'll leave mid-August, and
right,
he's gone through pretty much Thanksgiving, maybe first week of December, and he's driven home in between hunts, like maybe for a few days or a week, and then gone back. I'm hoping that maybe he can just leave his truck down there and fly in for a few days, and then because we live so close to the airport too, I'm hoping that that's how we can make it work. But I don't know, it's new territory. But getting to bear hunt and fish together will be.
Yeah,
that'll be cool. We usually just go camping, honestly, and like maybe go to a lake on our buddy's boat or something where we were.
Right.
So this should open up more opportunity to hunt and fish together than we've had before.
Well, and that's what's actually been like with starting MKC. there's all these events in the summer, and when you're starting out, you feel like you kind of have to be everywhere and do everything. And it's actually that's been the tough part about, in the summertime, like Total Archery Challenge or all these other events that you have to go to. But that's the time of year I don't want to leave Montana. Like that's fishing season, whether it's fishing or spring bear or the fall, it's like I wish all these events were in December and January and February, you know, which a lot of obviously the shows are, beginning of the year. But I'm trying to pick and choose just a little better, because man, in the summertime, like your calendar can just get away from you and you realize you don't hardly have any weekends left,
I'm also excited. Aren't there, I don't know, in my head that there's like local rodeos and stuff throughout the summer?
Yeah, there are.
Because that's very much our roots too, down in Texas. Rodeo's huge in Texas. So
I wouldn't say as often like here, right around here, but like up in, I think Kalispell or Columbia Falls, there's a rodeo every single week. And then definitely around that 4th of July time frame, for several weeks in a row. And then Labor Day time frame, there's some great ones. And we usually sponsor a few of those rodeos, and they're a blast to go to. And it's like small town rodeo stuff. It's pretty cool.
That's exciting. And getting to go to a dance hall again. There's like no dance halls where we're in Utah. There's just like not.
Are you talking like what we did the other night? Sunrise?
Yeah, at the Sunrise. That was, so I mentioned Bo's Barn earlier. Bo's Barn started out, that bar is the closest thing to a Bo's Barn that I've seen.
Really?
Ever. Just hole in the wall bar. And honestly, the Sunrise was a lot more cleaned up, but where we met, when I ended up meeting him, it was like the next location for Bo's Barn. So they like really jumped up, but the original reminded me. Yeah. The Sunrise reminded me of it. Like just hole in the wall bars.
It's a cool bar because you can just sit around and watch people dance, which can be entertaining. Or, if you're dancers, it's fun to definitely get out there. Cause I think they have a band there 2 or 3 days a week.
Yeah. The live music too. I'm a junkie for live music. That's another thing I haven't had in a long time. So I don't know. I just feel like this area is the perfect mix. I've always said I would have never left Texas if there were mountains. Yeah. And I will probably say that till the day I die.
Montana's kind of a cold Texas.
Exactly. That's what I was getting at. Like I literally am getting my Texas in the mountains right now.
Yeah. I didn't realize I don't think I had ever been to Texas before I went to TAC 2 years ago down there. And, I had only ever been to Montana and Utah TACs. And so, they're on ski hills, they're on the mountains, it's mountain stuff. Like to me, it's just like, yeah, whatever. That's cool. I mean, they're neat, but that's like what we know. And then I went to the Texas TAC, and like they try to like run it up a hill and like down a hill, and it's like through the brush. And I was like, and I look around, I'm like, oh, they don't have any mountains here at all. Like,
No. I mean, if you go way west, but yeah, that's not.
It's funny because I was down hanging out with Tyler. I'm going to call him out. I was Tyler with Archery Country. Mm-hmm. We went out to his hunting lease, and he drove me up onto this point, and it was like the highest point in like the county, which he was super proud of. And it was just like a boob in the middle of it. And it was like this little round with like a little point of rocks on the top of it. And I was like, and that was like a big deal.
In the hill country?
Because it was so much taller than everything else around it. And I was like, and he's really proud of it.
Yeah. I mean, the hill country of Texas is beautiful. It is arguably some of the prettiest area in the state. And there's like 5 states in one. Like it's so vast.
It's awesome out there. I mean, that's when Rogan came out and hunted pigs with us out there. And
oh, nice.
That's that one I shot that pig with my bow, but it was, it's just, different kind of hunting. Cause I'd never hunted pigs before in my life. I'd never, what you grew up doing was like totally foreign to me. Yeah. Which is, it's wild. Everybody's just got their own experiences in life.
Totally different. Yeah. It took me a while to adjust to mountain hunting for sure. Just the methods, like you grow up worrying about like your scent and the wind, and because you're sitting in a tree stand, and then it's like I go to the mountains, I'm like, I don't even wear deodorant. I'm just like, I don't give a crap. Like just play in the wind, and yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I'm thankful to have experienced truly both ends of the spectrum, and then obviously with international hunting, you're just throwing in these wild experiences.
What are your bucket list hunts? Let's just check muskox off. We're doing that.
So moose is really high. Caribou is too. So I had a caribou hunt planned a couple of years ago, and then they shut everything down in Alaska, and they're still battling that. I don't know what's going to happen. So I hope.
Caribou used to be so easy and kind of inexpensive to get.
Yeah, and it's only going to get worse. Yeah. And if the opportunities will continue to dwindle. So if that is a bucket list hunt, plan it. Yeah. I'm gonna have to plan something. I thought about even like maybe trying to go doing like a double, like moose and caribou combined, up in Canada or something. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just need to look into it, but I'm worried that it's gonna get to a place where I can't afford it or it won't be an opportunity anymore.
That's the unfortunate thing, like with sheep hunting. I mean, in just 3 years, the amount that it's gone up in price, stone sheep is now $120,000. It's just absolutely insane. And people are still booked out 3 years. I'm
just thankful I don't have the sheep bug. And I know that sounds so crazy, but I did go tar hunting in New Zealand, and that's very comparable. And it was the best hunt of my life, to be very clear. Like, New Zealand is unlike anything I've ever seen. It's, you have to go. That's incredible.
I've heard people say like Jurassic Park.
Yeah, it's just crazy beautiful, and it's rugged, and it challenges you in every way. It's really cool.
What other moose, caribou?
Those are honestly, I'm so distracted by those right now that I haven't even thought beyond that. I just was like, hope, because I say one international hunting year. I'm like, maybe by next year I can plan something.
Right.
Maybe I can try to go knock one of those off the list. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I went to South Africa last year. I've hunted a lot of stuff already. I thought I was going to knock not that it's really a bucket list, but it's kind of like I haven't done it. So I drew a really good coos deer tag this year in Arizona, and just the weather absolutely killed me. Just like crazy winds. The deer weren't moving at all. Nobody was killing. It was awful. And then I haven't shot a blacktail. Well, I've shot a Sitka blacktail, but I haven't shot one,
Like out in Oregon?
Yeah. That'd be Colombian. I was like, what is the term? There are just like a few like in between to fill in what I've done, but I'm really happy with the things that I've hunted. And again, I always say I'm a traveler first. So I'm like, where would I want to go in the world? And then what could I hunt there? Maybe
right.
stag.
Yeah.
Like stag would be sweet. I've shot a fallow deer. I've shot, I guess I could go back for chamois in New Zealand. Not that I'm dying to kill one, but it's a good reason to go back to New Zealand.
Yeah.
But I like to go to new places. I chase first-time experiences.
Yeah.
So once I knock a few off the list, and I'll be like, okay, what else is next? And I wonder if that's how Sierra's geared. I've actually never talked to her about it. Like,
yeah, I'm sure you guys will get some time this time.
Yeah, I'm interested to like see how her mind works and what drives her in that way.
Sure.
Because she's a traveler at heart too, and she loves all the like just going into the culture and like all of that beyond the hunt.
Right.
She likes to soak in everything.
So that's what I've told my kids. Like when we've been out sitting in like the Missouri River breaks in Montana, maybe sitting there glassing or having lunch or whatever, and you're looking out over the Missouri River, and there's this rough, rugged country that's good literally for nothing other than just having elk and sheep and deer live in it.
Yeah.
Because it's gumbo clay, it's eroding all the time, and it's just an ever-changing landscape. Like you can't do anything with it or in it, so it's just going to remain rugged forever. And then right on the edge of it are these big rolling prairies where farmers are either farming them up or it's pasture ground for cattle or whatever. But it's in the middle of nowhere. Like you wouldn't go there if you don't hunt. Like most people wouldn't. And it's not what you would necessarily consider like, oh, I'm going to go backpack through this country. Typically it's just not that kind of known for that. Mm. But when you sit there and then you envision like Lewis and Clark rowing upriver through it, and think about like if you were rowing your boat across, South Dakota, or North Dakota and into Montana, all across all that flat country, wide open flat, and then all of a sudden you start rowing into the Missouri River breaks and that rugged ass country, and you see mountains in the distance, but you're not there yet. And I always tell my kids, like, most people are never going to see this country but that's what's cool about hunting. The only reason we see that country is because we hunt. There's no other reason to go there. Typically, it's not on the tourism bucket list that you're ever going to read in a guide of Montana. It's about as far from Yellowstone and Glacier as you can get. But I would argue in its own way, it's just as cool or cooler. And you'll sit there and you won't see an animal move. The one deer that Hank shot one year, we were packing Sadie's buck out, and we sat down and kind of glassed for a little bit, and we were just taking a break, and Hank had asked me, I mean, we had been glassing this bottom, really deep cuts, like super aggressive, full of brush and trees, and Hank's like, "Hey, Dad, you should rattle." And I mean, I've never rattled for mule deer, but they're young, and so it's about the experience, right? So I'm like, oh, okay. So I take my rattles out of my pack and I start rattling, and immediately a buck stands up on the hill right across from us,
so awesome.
300 yards, and we set Hank up, and he shoots this deer, and when he shoots, I swear 50 deer ran in every direction, and we'd been sitting there for a half hour glassing, but you cannot. And it's a lot like that brush and stuff in Texas. Like you could glass or Arizona, New Mexico, you could glass all day. And unless something stands up to kind of rebed, you're not going to see them.
That's so cool that he said that too. Like, hey, Dad, I want to try this. That reminds me of 2 seasons ago, my oldest sister hunts too. And so she always in camp with my dad and I. And we had been chasing my bull through a freaking lightning storm for hours. Like the roads were flooded, and I was just like, I freaking love lightning storms. So I was having the best time of my life. And he gets hung up. There's a gap between us. I can't get him to come in. Calling's not working. Not calling isn't working. Like nothing's working. And she's like, well, I can try to call. Like she's older than me, but she's like talks like a little baby. And I'm like, and she's experienced, but not like she didn't get to go all the time, And I was like, yeah, why not? Like, let's have fun.
Yeah.
Dude, she drops back and starts calling, and it sounded like this little calf, and the bull runs, like, I get chills thinking about it, runs straight into me, 20 yards, broadside bugles, and I smoked him. So she called my bull. That
is so cool.
Yeah. And your
dad was with you?
No, he didn't get that. He wasn't with me that time. No. So that was freaking
just you
sweet.
And her?
Just the two of us. And then last year, we had just packed out my dad's bull, got back to camp. We're like freaking tired. I'm like, okay, there's maybe 2 hours of hunting left. Let's just go behind camp, whatever. We climb up this ridge, and we're just working into the wind, and we hear one light up on the ridge, and we're like, oh my God. And we work in, and she's getting nervous. And so I just stood behind her, and I said, you look down and you hold your bow, and you watch every freaking step that you take. Because what happened was we got it close enough, and I could see him tearing up a tree. Oh. And she's like, I don't see him, but she's shorter than me. I'm like, he's right ahead, just trust me. And if I I'm going to grab you, and I'll control if you go or stop. And so I grabbed her backpack. I'm like, you just look down. I'm your eyeballs. And we stepped together, and we got in, and she smoked that bull at 40 yards, and we broke down. We had already half of it broken down and in bags by the time they got there to help us pack out the second bull of the day. So it was like amazing. A return favor. Like she helped me 2 years ago, just the two of us. And then last year, totally different approach. Cause again, I don't call bulls in usually. Like I'm usually like shut up and sneak in. That's just what I like to do. So we used her method on my bull and my method on hers, and both killed and by ourselves. And it's just so
And your
cool.
dad had to have been so proud of that, like his 2 daughters.
Yes, but this is the perfect, like he was proud, but he's not the dad that like says he's proud. He like shows it in other ways. I don't know why. It's just not something that comes out of his mouth. I could tell he was proud, but he is such a perfectionist, and he is so much like my way or the highway. Like this is the right way. He's totally type A, like very detailed. I get some of that from him. I've worked on it since as I get older.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Around the shop, just your detail.
Like I like things done a certain way, and I'm really having to remind myself that there's more than one way to skin a cat. Like I know that about hunting. My husband and I hunt very, very differently, and we both kill, but
So he's probably like, well, that meat could be a little bit cleaner.
Dude, I don't even remember what he said, but I was like, I knew you were. I was so mad. I was exhausted. It was our second bull to pack out.
Yeah.
My back was like giving out. I'm just smoked. I'm like, hey, Dad, how about I'm really proud of my 2 daughters for killing a bull by themselves and cutting up half of it before I ever got here. Like,
well,
I totally
looks like you
lost
hit it a little far back.
Like, I don't even remember what his comment was. I was
Yeah.
like, for the love of God. And I had told Candace before he got there, I'm like, he's going to make some comment about something that we've done. And sure as hell.
That's awesome. I love it.
I just remembered, literally went from like, I don't know what else I want to hunt to 3 more right out of the gate, because I think of predators in a whole different category, but grizzly, brown bear, and wolf.
Yeah.
Like, I'm literally dying to shoot one of those.
Yeah.
So
Jess is going wolf hunting
with
next
Kate.
Weekend with Kate.
I'm so
Small.
jealous. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Be really cool.
Yeah. She's a killer.
That'd be wild if she actually got a wolf with those guys. It'd be amazing.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. I would never hear the end of it from my buddies. Be like, your wife killed a wolf and you didn't.
Yeah. Well, most people haven't. That's
Getting a wolf is, I'd argue it's one of the absolute hardest things to do.
Yeah.
They're pretty elusive.
Are they trapping or?
They do a combination of stuff. Yeah, they do trapping, calling. It's interesting. They've spent so much time. They'll observe. They'll shoot long range, but then they started observing their patterns and then setting traps within like their travel routes. So they're I would say is about as wolf expert as it gets. So I think they'll use whatever method they need to try to make it happen. But I mean, who's, taking 3 and 4 and 5 wolves a year? Like,
I know.
Nobody
They
but
know
them.
they know what they're doing for
Yeah,
sure. That's so
100%.
cool. That'll be, if nothing else, it'll be an incredible learning experience.
Yeah. And there's another person, I mean, Kate, this tiny little small,
Beautiful.
cute gal. Yeah. And she's a badass, and it's cool that her and, Justin hunt together, and it's very cool. So I love seeing couples doing it together, and then I love seeing, women just out doing their own thing too and showing that they're capable. It's cool. And it doesn't matter. You don't have to be some big bruiser chick to do it.
Yeah.
Of course, it helps to have some big bruiser friends to help pack out some meat.
Yeah, no kidding. I definitely prefer hunting with people just because of the whole experience, but knowing that I can hunt alone it's I don't know. That's like a life lesson. It's special. It is alone time that I think everybody needs, and it's a good reflective time, like quiet time, whatever you want to call it. But I do love hunting with people.
Yeah.
The camaraderie is really, really special.
For sure.
So I'll always prefer that. But knowing that you can is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And everybody can.
Yeah, for sure. Well, with that, good luck on the muskox hunt. Well, we're going to have another one to hear about that. I hope it's an amazing adventure.
Me too. And Riley has to be on it.
Yeah, no, we would definitely have to have Riley. It would be fun to hear you guys tell your version of the story and then hear Riley fill in all the parts that you guys don't want to talk about.
I'm pretty transparent.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Get Riley out on a spa day. I want to see Riley getting his toenails done with you girls.
I don't think he's above it.
He's not above it.
I feel like he'd be down.
Look at his hair. Of course he's not above it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I asked him if he got it permed.
Did you?
Yes, I thought he did. Totally did. He's like, you're not the only one that's asked me that. I'm like, I would have thought your mullet was definitely permed.
Yeah. God, there's been times when he's had his mustache, and I'm just like, God, you look like such a pedophile.
I don't think you can say
such
that.
a creeper. His creeper mustache. But Riley's awesome. I love him. And he's talented. He's really good at what he does. So
crazy talented. Both guys here are. It's pretty nice. It's pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, it's a cool group of people all around. All right. Well, thanks. Glad you're at the company, and glad you're my neighbor. Same. And we're going to do lots of fun stuff together.
I'm excited.
Thanks.
Thank you.